10 in the masjid. So there is no registration, just bring your youth to the masjid and stay for iftar and tarawih, inshallah. As for the kid programs, that is for 4 until 11 years, will be virtual and will also start tomorrow at 11 a.m. in the morning. There will be storytelling, games and prizes for the kids program. The Zoom link will be posted at the Istiqlal app and Istiqlal WhatsApp group. Also no registration required. Everybody is welcome. And inshallah, we'll do Khatam al-Quran and also fundraising on the 27th of Ramadan. So please be aware of this. So regarding Khatam al-Quran, so all the Quran that we read will cover Fajr, Isha, Tarawih, and Hajj. So we'll do it that way so that we won't stay too long for Tarawih, inshallah. And also there is something new this Ramadan. We plan to have quiz competition. So we'll have a regular khatira between Tarawih. It's only for 5 minutes. So please pay attention on it. And on the 25th of Ramadan, we are not going to have khatira between Tarawih. Instead, we are going to spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes for all of you who wants to participate in the quiz, to answer the quiz. We'll post the question on Istiqlal app. So download it and then you can post your answer there too. That way. So it's only for that night. And as I said before, there will be a short talk after between Tarawih, after the 4 rak'ah of Tarawih. It's 5 minutes. So inshallah, pay attention on that. Then you will be able to answer the quiz, and there will be an interesting gift. But inshallah, we'll pick 5 best answers for the brother and 5 best answers for the sister, or from the sister, inshallah. So that's regarding iftar. We still have a couple of spots during the weekdays for iftar. So if you are interested in providing iftar, at the back wall of the masjid, for the brother and for the sister, we have a board there. There's a phone number you call. You can call that phone number and then tell them that you are interested in providing iftar. Most spots on the weekend are full, but we still have a couple of spots during the weekdays, inshallah. And the Khateeb for today will run a little bit late. It's about 5 minutes late. So inshallah we'll try to start at 5:35. In the meantime, you can recite Quran and all. We wait for 5 minutes, inshallah. Shouldn't be long. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, and one additional announcement. We just acquired the card reader there at the corner of the masjid there. So it's make it very easy for you to donate to the masjid. So even if you don't bring money, you just stick your credit card over there, and then we will take care of it, inshallah. I'm sorry, I keep forgetting things. We don't have any more distance between us here in the masjid, so feel free to to fill the spot in between. If you don't feel comfortable without any distance and move, you can move to the 2 rows at the back. The rows are reserved for people who still want distance between them. So feel free to move to the front, inshallah, so that we can have more people in the masjid. And also, we would like very much for you, whenever you are in the masjid, to have put your mask on, because we don't have no distance anymore, so your mask is required, inshallah.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. My dear respected brothers and sisters, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us. Alhamdulillah, we are getting very close to the month of Ramadan. In a matter of few hours, inshallah, we will be blessed. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us reach the month of Ramadan and make us benefit from this month, from its barakat, from its quyub, from all its blessings, not just us, but everybody, all the Muslims as well as the entire humanity, mankind, everywhere in the world. This month is a month of the Quran. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن. That is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala introduces us to the month of Ramadan by saying it is the month in which Quran is revealed. He didn't say that it's a month in which the Siyam is made for, of course that's part of it, but that's not how he introduces it to us. He said first, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن, and then after this, later on, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنْكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ. Whosoever finds this month in their lives should fast. And as we also know that the fasting was prescribed in different forms in the nations before us. As we also know from the story of Maryam alayhi salam in the Surah Maryam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked her to, the nature of fasting for her was not to speak. Sometimes we say that in our Urdu local language also that I'm fasting, that I'm not going to speak to you in a rhetorical sense or something like that. So there was a fasting of that kind back in the day. So there was a fasting, there was a way of fasting to show the commitment to Allah, to show that we are doing something as commanded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has chosen for us to fast is by not eating or drinking during those prescribed times. Right, as we all know that. But it's more than just, the exercise is not just a physical exercise, as we all know that, right? The actual training is to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We fulfill His commandments. If He says not to eat or not to drink, even as pure as water, there is no semblance or there is no question of halal or haram, even that is not permissible during those few hours. And after that, we can enjoy that as much as we want. And as I was mentioning in the last time that I was talking about this, about the topic of Ramadan, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لِلصَّائِمِ فَرْحَتَانِ. For the Sa'im, for the fasting person, there are two joys. One joy is the time that when he breaks the fast. We all know the joy, right? You are fasting the whole day. Small little kids, mashallah, they do fast sometimes. Hot day, thirsty, hungry, you have work, everything that your studies, your businesses, your jobs, still you are making sure that you are not breaking the fast. You are avoiding drink, you are avoiding food, and you are avoiding all it that's supposed to be avoided. And you get so much joy at the time of breaking the fast that we feel so happy. The same way, the Prophet said the second farha, the second joy that the person will have is when he sees his Lord, when he meets his Lord. Why that joy? Because that joy is not only the fasting, of course, the fasting person will have a special joy, but the person who fasted this world exactly, not the actual fasting which is few hours, the entire life also he lived in a kind of a fasting way. by obeying the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this training, this fasting is like a training for us to fast the entire life. But that does not mean that we are not going to be eating or drinking, but staying away from what Allah has prohibited and fulfilling what Allah has commanded us. So that is the kind of fasting. So this fasting for a few of us will train us to do that kind of fasting which we will be pleased with to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment. So a person who is not fasting will not have the joy when it's time to break the fast, right? Because for him, it's normal. Things are pretty usual. He has been fasting, he has been eating, he has been drinking the whole day. There is no special occasion for him. The same way, a person who has not fulfilled the commandment of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during this dunya will not have the pleasure in meeting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because he has not fasted. He has not lived his life in a fasting manner the way we do in a fasting. So, as the Prophet ﷺ said, "Kam min sa'imin laysa lahu min siyamihi illa dhama." How many are the people there are who are fasting? In a way, fasting is a physical form of fasting. But they have not gained from that fast except thirst, or except hunger, or except tiredness. Right? Kam min qa'imin laysa lahu min qiyamihi illa sahar. That they have stood in the salah, they have done the physical form of fasting, but behind all those things they lost the spirit of fasting. When they are in their regular life, they are back into cheating, they are back into backbiting, they are back into all kinds of haram practices in jobs, in businesses. That is not the purpose of fasting. The purpose of fasting is to purify ourselves from all kinds of disobedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not just in the times of fasting. That is only a training. Once we are through that training, it should be easy for us to fulfill the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the rest of our lives. And as the Prophet ﷺ said, there are a few things that we should do also while we are fasting, right? Fasting is, as I said, is not an exercise for our physical strength to show how strong we are, right? I can fast for 14 hours or I can fast for 16 hours. That is not the purpose. To start the fast at the right time is also a commandment. The Prophet ﷺ said, فَصْلُ مَا بَيْنَ صِيَامِنَا وَصِيَامِ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ أَكْلَةُ السَّحَرِ. The difference between the fasting of the people of the book and our fasting is to have suhoor, is to start with having some few morsels of food, whatever you can afford or whatever you want, whatever you need. A date, a glass of water, a glass of milk, whatever it is. Start with doing the suhoor. Don't say, well, I have eaten, alhamdulillah, I had a heavy night dinner at 11 o'clock at night, so I'm not even going to get up for suhoor. That is not the kind of fasting. Of course, you will fulfill the fasting, but that is not the recommended form of fasting. Same thing, if somebody says, well, I'll break the fast later when I feel hungry. Right? That is not the kind of fast. As the Prophet said, my ummah will be on the right path as long as they do the hastiness in breaking the fast. When it's time for Maghrib or just before the Maghrib or at the time of Maghrib, break the fast. Some people, some different deviant sects of Muslims, they break the fast after Maghrib, an hour after Maghrib. So that again you get more reward by breaking on time, starting on time. Not to show that I'm strong, I can fast. It's not a marathon run, it's not an exercise for your how strong you are, to show you how strong you are. How strong you are is seen by how strongly you are committed to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How strongly you follow the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Same thing. When we are careful about the siyam, when it's time for like 7:42 or 7:43, we wait for the minute, right? We count the seconds also. But we are not careful about the salawat, the 5 daily salawat, the prayer times. Fasting is only prescribed in the month of Ramadan, whereas the prayers are prescribed throughout the year. There is no specific time, there is no specific period of time in which salawat are prescribed. So if we are fulfilling the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala so meticulously, so particularly, so diligently, that we don't break the fast 1 minute before the time, but when it comes to salawat, people are ignorant about it, unfortunately. We take it easy. We pray whenever we want to pray, or whenever we find the time to pray. So this is the time, this is the month of training that we should inshallah train ourselves to fulfill the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in all of His aspects. Same thing with regards to how you spend the time during the fast. People get involved into since they have low energy, they don't feel like doing much. So they get into, and especially when it's time for the Qiyamul Layl at night, during the last 10 days of last 10 nights, they think that staying awake at any cost is more important. What I mean is that they find some ways to waste their time during the nights, thinking that it's an ibadah, by watching movies or by playing games or by whatever means they think that they can do because they are staying awake at night. It's better to sleep at night rather than doing those things. It's better to sleep, better to pray Isha and Fajr in Salah, in Jama'ah if possible, than wasting your time on laghu things. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَنِ اللَّغْوِ مُعْرِضُونَ. Allah is saying that the believers are the ones who have succeeded. الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. They are very meticulous, they are very devoted in their salah, and they stay away from the laghu things. And what are the laghu things? Laghu things are things that are of no help, no benefit, no use. It's a waste of time. Listening to music, listening to whatever kind of mashaghil or whatever kind of so-called pastime that people think, or make up those kind of things, because they can't do much in the month of Ramadan, they think that that's okay. So avoid those kind of things, and as a reminder for myself and for all of us, make use of the time that we have in the month of Ramadan. So there are a few things that you can do, that you can start practicing in the month of Ramadan. Since we are doing the training, this is the month of training. A few recommendations are that if you are getting up for suhoor, get up a few minutes before and pray 2 rak'ah as tahajjud and make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for whatever worries and whatever concerns and whatever issues and needs that you have. That is the best time to make the dua. In fact, if possible, go to bed with wudu. Make wudu and go to bed. So those are a few things that we can practice in this month, inshallah, that will help us to continue to practice in the rest of our lives. Getting up before suhoor, 5 minutes. After Fajr, make sure that you pray Fajr also. Some people say, well, I'm so tired, I'll have suhoor and then go to sleep. If possible, make the Fajr Salah in the masjid. And if you have time, or at least on the weekend, if you have to go to job, or do some studies, or college, or whatever, that's fine. But on the weekends at least, if you can, spend the time in the masjid. Stay in the masjid and make the dhikr until the sunrise, until the shuruq. You will get the reward of a Hajj and a Umrah tamma, as the Prophet ﷺ said, complete Hajj and Umrah. That is the time you are getting multiplied ajr in the month of Ramadan anyways. So especially take the time to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with those practices. And one more important thing, of course, get to be able to understand the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The Quran is not there to just to recite. Of course, you get the reward for it. But try to understand the meanings of the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَفَلَا يَتَدَبَّرُونَ الْقُرْآنَ أَمْ عَلَىٰ قُلُوبٍ أَقْفَالُهَا. Don't they ponder over the words of Allah, over the Quran, or are their hearts sealed or locked? We have, Allah has sent us this book and that's the only book that exists in its pristine form. It has not been messed around with. Where the other books, of course, as you know, the Torah and the Injil and the Zabur, those are also the books of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but they have been tampered with. People change the words. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taken the promise, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. We have indeed revealed this book and we are going to preserve it, we are going to save it. So the shayateen don't come close to it. So this is the only word and the pristine and the purest form of the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yet we are so ignorant about it. We should pay attention to learning some words. And especially I can see a lot of us are Urdu speaking people. And Urdu speaking people are especially blessed because their own language is 60 to 70% Arabic, if I'm not mistaken. Or a lot of the words that we use in Urdu are in Arabic language. All we need to do is spend some time to understand the grammar part of it. We use the words ilm and amal and dhikr and shukr and sabr. All these words are there common to us. All we need to understand is when we are reading the Quran, when we are standing behind the Imam in Taraweeh, Imam is reading something and we don't even know what surah it is, we don't even know what ayah it is or what is being decided, what is being conveyed to us. When we go to our meetings in our workplaces and the boss is giving, or the supervisor or the work team leader is giving a lecture and a talk and we don't know what he or she is saying, we will be embarrassed if we are not able to understand the language. But we don't feel that embarrassment when it comes to Quran. It's unfortunately, it's a very shameful situation. We can learn other languages. We can teach English to English people, right? We have scholars who can teach German and French to French people and so on. But yet when it comes to the Quran, we take an excuse, we give an easy excuse by saying that no, I don't understand, it's not my mother tongue. Is the mother tongue the only language you are supposed to understand? We make our living in a different language. We communicate, we speak, we write, we understand. The good thing about the Quran is that we don't have to write anything. We don't have to say, we don't have to speak Arabic. That's more difficult than understanding. Nobody is asking you to speak Arabic. It's not a requirement from us. But what is required of us is to be able to understand the Quran in its original language. Whenever the language is translated, it loses its meaning. It filters down. So when Allah SWT is addressing in that language, and we are spending our entire lives on this earth, not be able to understand the difference between ya'lamun and ta'lamun. Ya'malun or ta'malun, we don't know the difference between them. We don't know what to say for you and I in Arabic. As simple as that, simple pronouns. This is the time that we have lots of resources available. Even on your own phones, on your own mobile devices. If you have the zeal and the interest, if you take the time out, take 5 minutes a day, learn one word of the Quran a day. You can understand, you can look up the meaning. There are lots of software that are available to help you in that. Take the time to learn so that by next Ramadan, if I'm standing behind the Imam, listening to the Taraweeh, 20 rakat or 8 rakat, I'm able to follow. at least the broad meaning of it, if not the detailed meaning of it. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us understand the word of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to be able to implement that in our lives. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala Sayyidina Muhammadin barik wa sallam. This is also the time that we spend, we take the zakat out from our wealth, calculating how much we have in our accounts, in our bank accounts or in our other investment accounts and whatnot, and to be able to give the zakat out. This is an important faridah. Just like the siyam, just like the salah, zakat is also a faridah. We should make sure that we calculate the zakat and give it out to the needy people. Zakat is prescription from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, just like the salah. Aqimu salata wa atu zakat. Right? They are all, most of the time they are there together. And more than the zakat, if you are not in a position to pay the zakat, you still can do the charity. The Prophet ﷺ used to be most generous in the month of Ramadan. There are lots of needs, starting with your own family members, starting with your own relatives. Those who may be in need, reach out to them. And also reach out to the people you have not spoken to, for whatever reason. Your aunts, your uncles, your distant cousins, try to reach out to them. This is the time to build relationships and break the barriers. And don't have a situation where you say that I'm not going to talk to so and so person. That person's ibadat are not accepted. We are asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us, and if you are not willing to forgive any human being who has done some harm to us, especially our relatives, our kids, the Silatul Rahim from the people of our close relatives to us, brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles and cousins, make sure that you forgive them as you're asking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive yourselves. Right? We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us understand and make us benefit from this month of Ramadan. And when the month of Ramadan comes to the end, may Allah make us from those who have been delivered from the hellfire. Allahumma ja'alna min utaqa'ika min an-nar. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم فرج هم المهمومين ونفس كرب المكروبين واقض الدين عن المدينين واشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين. اللهم اهدنا فيمن هديت وعافنا فيمن عافيت وتولنا فيمن توليت وبارك لنا فيما أعطيت وقنا واصرف عنا برحمتك شر ما قضيت فإنك تقضي بالحق ولا يقضى عليك إنه لا يذل من واليت ولا يعز من عاديت. اللهم اغفر لأموات المسلمين الذين شهدوا لك بالوحدانية وبنبيك بالرسالة وماتوا على ذلك. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم وأكرم نزلهم ووسع مدخلهم واغسلهم بالماء والثلج والبرد ونقهم من الذنوب والخطايا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس. إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. قوموا إلى صلاتكم يرحمكم الله.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Staying the lines. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن الذين قالوا ربنا الله ثم استقاموا تتنزل عليهم الملائكة ألا تخافوا ولا تحزنوا وأبشروا بالجنة التي كنتم توعدون نحن أولياؤكم في الحياة الدنيا وفي الآخرة ولكم فيها ما تشتهي أنفسكم ولكم فيها ما تدعون نزلا من غفور رحيم ومن أحسن قولا ممن دعا إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين ولا تستوي الحسنة ولا السيئة ادفع بالتي هي أحسن فإذا الذي بينك وبينه عداوة كأنه ولي حميم وما يلقاها إلا الذين صبروا وما يلقاها إلا ذو حظ عظيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. Just to receive a request for Dua Maghfirah for Brother Fikri bin Zubari. He passed away. May Allah have mercy on him, inshallah. اللهم اغفر لأموات المسلمين الذين شهدوا بالله وبالوحدانية بنبيك وبرسالة. اللهم اغفر لهم وارحمهم وعافهم واعف عنهم وارحمهم وجلهم ووسعهم وخلهم واغسلهم بالماء والثلج والبرد. اللهم اشف مرضانا وارحم موتانا وختم بالصالحات اعمالنا. اللهم لا تدع لنا في مقامنا هذا ذنبا الا غفرته ولا مريضا الا شفيته ولا ضارا الا هديته ولا مبتلا الا عافيته ولا عسيرا الا يسرته ولا دينا الا قضيته ولا حاجه من حوائج الدنيا هي لك رضا ولنا فيها صلاح الا قضيتها ويسرتها يا رب العالمين. ربنا هب لنا من ازواجنا وذرياتنا قرة اعين واجعلنا للمتقين اماما. اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. اللهم انك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا.